first rule that we talk about in this paper is experimenting with meetings. So the problem is, like the picture shows here, humans tend to gravitate towards their bad habits, the dog returning to its vomit, as it were. And so the issue is when people try new things, they often try them a little bit, but they don't actually stick. They don't stick to their changes that they've made, even though they may know that they're an effective way to go. And so so for example, I worked with a financial organization working with their financial teams, and was there. I shared various insights, a few different ideas on things that they could change. For example, I encouraged them to start their meetings on time instead of starting them a little bit late, or even starting them a little early. Have a set time and stick to it, right? Another thing that was recommended was to ensure that everyone had an opportunity to share any ideas, thoughts, or insights during the meeting, and putting that onus on the leader to do that, to encourage that participation. So those are two little things that we encourage them to do, right? Well, the problem that happened was they did that for 2 or 3 meetings, right? And then I followed up with them a few months later to see how they were doing, and the reality was that they returned to their old habits. They didn't stick to the changes that they were encouraged to make. And so that's the issue here, is that once you make a change, will you stick to it long enough to actually enjoy the benefits from that? And this group did not, and unfortunately, they continue to have meetings that are not as good as they would like, or that they could be. So what does the science say about this? Well, one of the things that I tend to do in my science, I'd like to try new things. I like to experiment, both with the best practices and also with things that maybe have never been tested before, right? So a couple examples would be, we studied lateness, for example, and we brought people into the lab, and we had them either have a meeting that started on time, have a meeting that started a little bit late, or have a meeting that started really late, right? Just to see what this would do to people. And we really found that people who chose to have it on time had more effective meetings in so many ways. And so another example would be, we've messed with the seating arrangements, right? Having people sit in certain styles, certain ways, right? And so instead of having them sitting around at a table like you see in the picture here, we'd have them sit in a line with the leader sitting in front of them, almost like a teacher or student style type of approach, and to see how that affected things. And what we found is that there are definitely some best practices, right? But it differs from group to group as to whether trying this or trying that is going to make the difference that you want it to make. And so the science would suggest the key is to try some new things, to try some novel things, to allow your group or team to try a best practice and stick to it. And if you do that, then you're likely to see lasting change.